The bipartisan legislation Take It Down Act would force social media companies to remove graphic deepfakes and criminalize the act itself. Joining us right now is Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota and Senator Ted Cruz of Texas. Two folks on two sides of the aisle agreeing. Something we like to see, senators.
No.
So let's talk about this. Let's talk about what this bill would do, but also let's talk about how, when you say we criminalize it, how would that work?
Well, it's a growing problem. We're seeing this happening all across the country. Number one, non-consensual intimate images that are real images. So a boyfriend and girlfriend are together, they take a picture or video, then they have an ugly breakup and one or the other decides to make it publish it to the world, which is a grotesque violation of privacy. We see that happening with increasing frequency. And then there's a new problem with the advent of AI, which we see particularly targeted at teenagers. We see teenage boys frequently that are taking images of teenage girls, innocent pictures from social media, using AI to create a deep fake of what appears to be either a naked picture or a naked video, and then distributing it to all their classmates. And this is happening. This has increased 3,000% in the last year. 95% of the victims are women or teenage girls. And so Amy and I teamed up together to pass legislation to address this problem, to number one, make it a criminal offense to post non-consensual intimate images, but number two, critically, to put a legal obligation on the tech platforms to take that garbage down when they know that a victim is being victimized. Don't leave it up. Right now, far too many of the platforms leave the images up and won't respond to the victims when they ask to have it removed. So,
senators, and I'll go to Senator Klobuchar, in terms of how long can it remain on the platform before they would either be fined? I would imagine that's how you would be dealing with this. I don't know. And do you have any penalty for the folks who are making the tools to allow for the creation of such things?
So there are time limits, but to be very clear, this is a criminal penalty, right? The people that put it up, this makes it a clear federal crime, and then also requires that these platforms, and you and I, Andrew, have talked at length about the platforms before and some of the reasons that we might want guardrails and some new obligations here with the new world we're in to take it down. That's why it's called the Take It Down Act. We got this through the Senate unanimously. And I know you don't really expect the two of us to be together on your show, but here we are at the end of the year here trying to get it through the House. And as Ted was saying, 1 in 12, it's 1 in 12 Americans have experienced something like this because with the advent of AI, they're literally making up bodies on the faces of girls or faces on bodies, and they are putting this stuff out there, and it's destroying lives. The FBI director testified in front of the Judiciary Committee on which we serve that 20 suicides occurred in just 1 year of young kids. Why? The boyfriend or girlfriend puts the image up. The kid is very young. They think my life is over, and that's it. And they kill themselves because they don't know who to turn to because they think their parents would not believe they did such a thing. These are statistics from the FBI in just the incidents of death. So you cannot imagine how big this problem is in the real world.
Senator Cruz, how much pushback has there been from the big social media companies about the provision to criminalize leaving it up or not taking it down fast enough?
Well, in terms of the platform, it doesn't make it a crime for the platform itself if they're
just
not
for the
ones
individual
that created the image and posted it. It's for the individual. What it does is we actually borrowed from a different federal law, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So right now, Joe, if you tweet out a song from The Lion King, within an hour or two, they'll pull it down because that's required by federal law. And so every tech platform has offices that deal with requests. You can't tweet out copyrighted material. We use the exact same mechanism. And I'll tell you, one of the victims is a 15-year-old girl from Texas. Her name is Elliston Berry, and she came by my office, she and her mother, telling me her story about how in 9th grade when she was 14, a teenage boy took images of her, created deep fakes, and sent fake naked pictures of her that appeared real to all of her classmates. And she was horrified. She was crushed. But her mother told me how she had spent 9 months trying to get Snapchat to pull the pictures down. She sent emails, she made phone calls, and they just wouldn't respond. I'll tell you, I turned to my staff in the office and I said, I want you to get the CEO of Snapchat on the phone right now. I want those pictures down today. They pulled them down within the hour. Now, frankly, it should not take a sitting senator making a phone call to get that kind of garbage down. The victim ought to have a right. And so this bill, it's bipartisan legislation to empower the victims and prevent them. Not only are they victimized when it first happens, but they're victimized every time someone else sees those images. This gives them a right to take it down.
And some of them hear, years later that the image has come back, right? It is we have to do it right away, and that's why we called it the Take It Down bill.
So, Senators, I don't know if I know you're agreeing on this. I don't know if you would agree on what I'm about to not suggest, but maybe ask, which is, it's an AI question, because we've had large conversations about whether AI needs to be regulated and whether, obviously there's individuals who are going to use these tools in nefarious ways, one of which may very well be this. And the question is whether the AI companies that are developing these tools should have any liability at all, or should be prevented from allowing their tools to be used in such a way. I know that's not part of this bill, but I'm very curious about how you think about it, because I know there's a lot of talk and conversation in Washington about regulation as it relates to AI.
So I believe we need rules and regulations. When you've got Elon Musk himself saying there should be some rules of the road when it comes to AI, maybe we should be listening. And those can break down into making sure that people can own their own images. And Senator Coons and a number of us on the Judiciary Committee Senator Tillis have worked on a bill that makes it very clear that you own your own images and you can't steal people's images in some way. Senator Thune and I have a bill that sets some standards for how this is going to be regulated for non-defense uses of AI. And then finally, when it comes to democracy, I have a bill with Josh Hawley, just to show you these are bipartisan efforts that says you should be able to take down some of these deepfake political ads, or at least have labeling on them. So there is a lot of work to be done on AI. Bipartisan group led by Senator Schumer and Senator Young and Senator Rounds and Heinrich have been bringing all of us together. And I hope that is really on the agenda at the beginning of the year. And Senator Cruz is going to be chairing Commerce, so we'll be in a good position to move some of this along.